So hey friends, welcome back to Daily Practice with Nikhil, the space where mindfulness and real world meets, the space where we focus on progress through practices such as mindfulness, positive affirmations, life choices, self-love, compassion, all the practices we've been discussing. We sit here with the hidden forces shaping our days and bring gentle awareness to even the messiest moments. That's what we are here for. So today we are going to talk about 3 fascinating traps that might be quietly running your life. They're not loud. They don't scream at you. They whisper. They make you think that you are thinking clearly when you're not. And once you see them, actually really see them, your whole experience can shift. So that is the promise for this section or this practice session. So let's breathe here. Let's take a moment, pause, notice the breath, notice the mind. A simple moment of mindfulness, simply noticing where we are. Closing your eyes if that's convenient. If not, keeping it open. Let all the surroundings and all the experiences around you be part of your moment. So you're not shying away from anything, and get curious. Let's get curious together. So the first effect which I want to talk about is when you are too smart for your own good. So have you ever tried fixing a problem and done it the way you always do, only to realize it's not working? Let me give you an example. You find a solution that works in solving a chess problem, because I've been dealing with chess recently. So you find a way to solve a chess problem, and then your mind keeps going back to that same problem in every other chess game. So this is a chess analogy, but it can be happening to any of the situations in your life. And once you find that solution works in one situation, we try to copy paste and install it into our psyche. We say like, oh, this is the way we solve it, and then we use that same template to solve other problems. But the problem is, when a better solution shows up, you might not even see it. And this is not because you are being lazy or you're being inefficient. The problem is you're being too efficient. And this effect is called the Einstellung Effect, German word, basically meaning setting or installation. So we have actually installed this program or problem solving technique into our mind, that we use it repeatedly on other things as well. And we might have a different solution. It's like using an IKEA manual for every single DIY aspect in your life. So it's like using a 10-step recipe for a meal you can just microwave in 2 minutes. But you don't realize it, because the 10-step way is what you know best, because you've been installing it, you've been setting it up, you've been practicing it. So this comes back to practice. So in experiments, people have been given math problems, for example, and they figured out a tricky solution early on and then kept using the long method, even when a simpler path appeared. So in life, what does it look like? Always trying to solve arguments with logic, even when a simple act of empathy would work better. Another aspect in life, trying to push through stress with productivity. So we try to push through something which we are doing, and like it's not working, we just try to overthink. We start to focus on pushing through when a nap or a walk would be more effective. Or doing meditation exactly how someone told you once, instead of adjusting it to your own needs today. And this is very important in the practice, in our practices, is we, including myself, doing these sessions, I've also installed certain things which seem to be causing a little bit of difficulty in creating my own stuff, is because I've practiced this so much that I've installed the way I speak, the way I talk, the way I use my hand gestures, way I come across in the talk, maybe even like the topics we discuss. There might be a pattern now. So I am trying to figure out ways in which I can explore it. So how does mindfulness offer any help here? In the Einstellung Effect, what mindfulness can bring awareness to is the power to ask, wait, is this the best way? Or just the familiar way? And sometimes this question alone is the shift we need. So, when was the last time you've installed certain programs in your life? So, the second aspect, second trap, is why you don't know your future self. And this is a fun one. So, I'll take you an example. Every day you say, I'll get up early and meditate tomorrow for sure. And then the morning comes and you hit the snooze button. Or maybe you say, next time I get angry, I'll stay calm. And then boom, you're yelling again. So what is happening? It's the idea that you and I, all of us, are bad at predicting how we will feel in the future, especially when our emotions change. And this trap is called the empathy gap. So when you are calm, it's hard to imagine being angry. And when you're angry, it's hard to remember what calm feels like. And here's where it really hits. What happens when this is in our life is you overcome it when you're in a good mood. You under-prepare when you are comfortable. And you judge others for things you don't feel in the moment. Like wondering, why can't they just get over it? When you are not in grief or stress yourself. So that is the empathy gap. And this is another mental trap which we have to figure out, which we have to understand. And mindfulness again helps us bridge the gap. So it says, I may not feel this now, but can I remember what it was like? My future self will be different. So let me care for them too. So next time you're making a decision, pause, ask, am I being kind to my future self? Can I stretch into how they might feel? And that question, again, changes everything. That question gives you a way in which to work with this empathy gap, which we all have. No one is exempt. Now, the third effect or third bias, which I would like to discuss, is same story, different spin. So let's talk about something sneaky. And if a doctor says this procedure has a 90% survival rate, sounds reassuring, right? But it has 10% of going complications. It's the same statistic, but your reaction changes drastically. And this is often known as the framing effect. So your brain doesn't just respond to facts, but to how those facts are framed. Marketers do this all the time. 95% fat-free sounds healthier than 5% fat. Success rate sounds better than failure rate. But you know who else does this? You do it. You do it in your thoughts. You say, I failed versus I learned. They left me versus we weren't right for each other. I broke my heart versus I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I didn't practice, or I'm not good enough for practice, versus I restarted my practice. And the frame you choose shapes your entire emotional response. So mindfulness, again, being practicing for a long time, it gives us the moment to ask, what's the frame here? Is it helpful or hurtful? Can I tell the same story differently? With more kindness, with more compassion, with more acceptance. So you're not changing the truth. You're reclaiming the angle. And that's powerful. So these are the 3 biases which I wanted to discuss, which was very interesting for me. Some may be interesting for you, some may not be. Doesn't really matter. As long as we understand that they are shortcuts, they are evolutionary tools, but without awareness, they limit us. So Einstellung or installation, empathy gap, and framing. And these are things we do unconsciously sometimes. And the idea of these practices is to make it slightly in our conscious mind, bringing awareness. So mindfulness is not just about breathing and being calm. It's also about clear vision, insight. So noticing when your brain has defaulted to old ways, the narratives you tell yourself, can we change them? The way in which you speak yourself is the most important thing in the world. So notice when you are seeing your emotions for what they are they skewing your judgment? So if you are in an emotional frame of mind, is it skewing your judgment and choosing how you tell your story? So here's your daily practice invitation. Notice just one moment today where you reach for an old habit just because that is familiar, and ask yourself, can this be done differently, or can I do it in a different way, or is this the right way to find the solution? Notice one moment today where you misread a future emotion. So you might be thinking, tomorrow when I wake up, I am going to be running 5 miles, because you feel it right now. Right now you feel like you're in a good mood, but in the morning you might not be. And you tell yourself a story with a heavy reframe. So maybe you've been telling yourself stories about the way in which you are, or how people treat you, or how you treat yourself, and change that into a new story. Just notice it gently, kindly, and that's the practice. And that's the path. So thank you for indulging me today. If this conversation helped you, consider talking about it, sharing with someone. And remember, you don't have to outthink your mind. You just have to meet it with presence. So until next time, stay mindful, stay human, and I'll catch you in the next one.